All right. Today, as you probably know, well, November 2nd, it's probably actually going to be the 3rd by the time this video comes out. Um, we're going over the election results from November 2nd. So yeah, we had a lot of elections across the country. I'm going to focus in this video on the elections in St. Petersburg. I will, in a separate video, talk about some other elections that took place across the country. Elections and amendment decisions or charter decisions that could have some kind of political impact across the country. But we'll tackle that in a separate video. For now, we're going to tackle the St. Petersburg elections and charter amendments and so forth. I wanted to start though with the 2013 mayoral election. If you have seen the results, you'll know that the 2021 mayoral election had a substantial difference in the percentages. Now, as we can see here, it was about 10% difference here between Rick Kreisman and Bill Foster back in 2013. I don't believe Bill Foster was as I don't think he had a really high approval rating. A lot of the stuff going on back then. So Rick Kreisman, breezed through it, you could say. But in 2017, it was pretty close. Now, 2017, if we recall, this was the first year that Trump was president, and so some people thought maybe this will be, in some way, it's kind of like a check on the president's, um, you know, actions thus far. How good are they doing? Which is also something that's applicable to the election that happened yesterday on November 2nd with Ken Welch. Is it also a check on President Biden? I think there is, it, I don't think that it is as much of a impact in local politics. Maybe even it comes to representative stuff like that, but I don't think it really affects local elections as much. I think in this particular election, I think Rick Baker was just very uh, well liked. I mean, he had a very high approval rating back in 2000 when he was mayor, and I think a lot of people, they probably liked both Ricks. So that's why it was so close. In fact, it was very close. And so because of this, I was I always wondered for this 2021 election, a lot of the polls showed Ken Welch as, the high 50% margin. I always wondered, will we see a similar tie like this or a close race like this, or will it be more like 2013? And well, the results, as we can see here, are pretty substantial. 60% of the vote went to Ken Welch. And that's a substantial number. We're talking a 20% difference. This is basically what the polls suggested. The undecided number decided on Ken Welch, it would seem, and it was kind of impressive. I don't think I didn't expect it to be this high. I thought it would be maybe in the 50s for sure, but 60% is pretty amazing. I wonder if we have a turnout percentage. I think they consider good turnout for St. Petersburg to be around 40%, which is quite low, if I'm being honest. We don't seem to have any data on that, at least not yet. It might take some time. Yeah, 40%, pretty low. But if that's the case, but either way, a substantial one by Ken Welch. Had a pretty large bipartisan following and endorsement and so forth. So yeah, basically, Ken Welch will be the next mayor of St. Petersburg. Everything with a check mark here is basically decided. So now we're going to go over some of the charter. Actually, let's go over to the council districts first. So these were interesting. We had Copley Girds, who actually in the primary, if you recall, was just barely edged out by Bobby Shea Lee. It seemed possible that Bobby Lee would actually take the win for this one, but it appears Copley Gerds won this contest, probably somewhat on a name recognition. I think he's a just a moderate candidate. Actually, I think all the candidates that won council seats were Democrats, registered Democrats, as far as I know. I could be wrong. Some of these people are, like, I think both of these people are Democrats. I think both of these people are as well. But one interesting thing, actually, before I leave off of the mayoral election, I don't want to go too far away from this just yet. So part of the question is, there's this large gulf between Ken Welch and Robert Blackman. What did Blackman do wrong necessarily? And I think part of it might be some of the that's something that he and Tom Mullins did, who ran in my district, actually, District 4, to replace Darden Rice. They both kind of played into some of the culture war politics, and I don't think it really works well in what's it called? I don't think it works well in local politics all that well. So I think that it's going to turn away moderates and independents who just probably want to hear more on policy and stuff like that, as opposed to this guy's a socialist, or this person's that, stuff like that. Or I think Tom Mullins, I forget exactly. I think Tom Mullins actually dug more into it. Some of the culture war crap. Most of the culture war issues, in my opinion, aren't real issues that actually affect people. But I could go over that in a separate video at some point. But anyways, like I was saying, Copley Gerds beat out Bobby Lee. In District 4, Lizette Hanowicz beat out Tom Mullins by similar margins, actually. We can see kind of the vote difference here, 33,000 to 27, 32 to 28. Seems Bobby Lee was a little bit more favored than just a little bit more than Tom Mullins, but not that really matters. They both have lost. Mariel Summers edged out by Gina Driscoll. Gina was the sitting council member for District 6. Mariel Summers was I believe they were a progressive running from their left, and got a pretty decent showing. Richie Floyd, when I checked, a little after, it was about 8 o'clock when I checked, and it looked like Jeffrey Danner had actually won just by like 100 or so votes. And then I checked while I was setting up this page for this stream, and he ended up getting some more votes in, and then edged out Jeffrey Danner, who had previously been a city council person, as far as I know. Somebody who could have nearly won on name recognition, but of course, like, Richie Floyd has campaign material all over the city. He had a pretty large name recognition, and just barely edged out Jeffrey Danner. And it's interesting. It looks like his race got almost 59,000 votes in total. You don't really see that. Well, actually, that one got 60 total. It looks like, 60,000. That's interesting. Well, yeah, that's about, anyways, so those are the results for the mayor and the city council districts. We have Richmond Floyd replacing, I forget who. I think was it Amy Foster? I can't remember for sure. Gina Driscoll retains her spot on the council. Lizette Hanowicz replaces Darden Rice, and then Copley Gerds replaces Robert Blackman, who probably should have just stayed in the city council. Going up against Ken Welch was probably not the greatest idea, but then again, I mean, you never know who's going to win the primaries, so there is that. So now let's go to the referendum questions. So this was the referendum question granting property tax exemptions to new and expanding businesses. We talked about this in a previous video. I have this here just to kind of jump back to it. So this one is hopefully in here. Yeah, here you go. Providing city council authority to grant. So this was this would have provided the city council itself to make to provide tax exemptions to companies or businesses that came to St. Pete, brought full-time jobs, etc. Just barely got a no. Very close. Charter Amendment 1. So this was an interesting one. This was probably the most fascinating charter amendment on the ballot this time around. Now this ballot pretty much, pretty much had a majority no. It did have a majority no, yeah. And so this amendment was the one that would have restricted council member elections to the district that they represent. So yeah, this is, everyone who was in, for example, District 1, the people that voted for Bobby Shelley and Copley Gerds, only they would have, and the people that voted for them in the primary, only they would have voted for them in the entire election. Whoever they chose in the primary, the top two would run in the general, and only they would have chosen who would represent them. It was an interesting, and also if you won majority vote in the primary, you outright win. So for example, if that had been applied to this current election cycle, Richmond Floyd would have won the primary election. He won the election with 50% or so. He would have just become the elected city council member for District 8 outright. So that was Charter 1. It was shot down. And let's see that. Yeah, so that's that. We'll go up to Charter Amendment 2. 1. Yeah, Charter Amendment 2. Also, a lot of charter amendments were shot down. 2, 3, and 4 were no. So Charter Amendment 2 established a new process for drawing district boundaries for election of city council members. This is the one that used. This is the one that set up new standards for. Let's see. I haven't read this in a while. I gotta remember what it was. Uses comprehensive standards for drawing equitable district boundaries, requirements and restrictions to appoint, blah, 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 require city council to be bound by commission recommendations unless inconsistent. I think this was the establishing. Yeah, I think this was. I guess this one just kind of updated the process of drawing district boundaries. It's interesting. Well, that was shot down. Amendment 3 and 4, establishing an equity framework. Oh yeah, this was the. I'm not surprised. I kind of had a feeling that this would not make it. This is the equity framework, chief equity officer for city government, and then also funding for the equity office. Yeah, did not make it. Let's see, Charter Amendment 5 and 6 were passed. Let's look at those. So 5 was establish new requirements related to city administrator, city clerk. This is the one that I think I said that if you work in the city government, you have to live in the city. And the city clerks, there's mayor and a council, can be removed only by consent of both parties, mayor and council. This is one that also, it's kind of clarified the role of these positions in the city charter. And Charter 6, every 10 years. This is the one that tried to, scheduling conflicts with all that stuff. So they just, changed that. Charter Amendment 7 was one that added the preamble to the spirit of the charter and governing philosophy. Another one that I didn't really expect to make it, voted down as well. And so that is that. Of course, Bay News 9 covers all of their stuff here. It covers local elections and all around the Tampa Bay area. So you got Bradenton Beach Mayor, a bunch of stuff here. If you're interested, it's all here. I can link it. I will link in the description. Bill Mutz, he's been mayor of Lakeland for a while, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, Winter Haven. I got some family out there. Well, so that is the election cycle for St. Petersburg. Well, for St. Petersburg 2021. things are going to heat up for next year. As I've mentioned in the past, I'm going to broaden my, um, political, I don't want to call it journalism. That doesn't sound right, but reporting, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. I'll have more videos on other elections that are outside of St. Petersburg moving forward. So I'll still cover St. Pete politics as long as I live here. But we will see more about the election for governor and senator and the multiple executive offices in the state and so forth. We'll follow the campaigns of Ron DeSantis and whoever the Democratic nominee will be, whether it's Charlie Crist or Nikki Fried, or I believe Annette Tadeo is now running for some reason. Kind of late to launch it, and I don't know if it's, I don't know how that's going to work out. But yeah, thank you for watching, and like, subscribe if you want more of this content. And I should have a video out soon with some more national results coming soon. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.